Alright, what happens if one of those is a negative number? So if I want to try to factor x squared minus 7x plus 12, again I want m times n to be 12 and m plus n to be negative 7. It's a good thing to write these down and to say, okay, I need the product to be this number and the sum to be that number. It's, once you write it down, it's a lot easier to double check that everything is working out. So let's look at all the different ways I could get 12. I could get 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. But of course all of those sums are positive. This is a positive 13, positive 8, positive 7. You might have noticed that this actually isn't quite an exhaustive list. I could have also done negative 1 times negative 12, or negative 2 times negative 6, or negative 3 times negative 4. If I do both of them being negative, you can see negative 3 times negative 4 is a positive 12, but now when I add them together, negative 3 plus negative 4 is actually a negative 7. This is what I'm looking for on this one. So this x squared minus 7x plus 12 factors as x minus 3 times x minus 4. I could think of this as x plus a negative 3 and x plus a negative 4. But it's generally easier to just write x minus 3 and x minus 4. Alright. Here, I want m times n to be 24 and m plus n to be negative 11. So let's look at all the different ways I can get a 24. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. 5 doesn't go into it. 6 has already been covered. And you can see I'm just counting up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and checking all the different ways, all the different factors. Since 6 has already been covered, it's kind of going up the list here, that means I actually already have an exhaustive list. Anything else that would show up here would be on the right hand side. So this is my exhaustive list. Of course, this is not necessarily paying attention to if either of them are negative, but I know the sum should be negative 11, not negative 1. The sum should be negative, and since the product is positive, I know they're either both positive or both negative. Since the sum is negative, that means actually I know that they should both be negative. And pretty quickly you can see that this pair right here, negative 3 and negative 8, is the ones I'm looking for, because negative 3 plus negative 8 is the negative 11. So this means this factors as p minus 3 times p minus 8. I encourage you to check these. If we were to check this, this is one of those things that, if you're trying to increase how accurate you are, if you're getting questions wrong a lot, you definitely need to be spending more time checking your work. I know it seems like it takes longer, but ultimately it does save you time in the long run. P times p is p squared. P times negative 8 is negative 8p. Negative 3 times p is negative 3p, and negative 3 times negative 8 is positive 24. When I combine the negative 8p and the negative 3p, I get p squared minus 11p plus 24, and that's what I actually wanted. So this is the factored form right there. Alright, on this one, we're looking for a product of negative 28, m times n equals negative 28, and m plus n equals 3. So let's first start with all the different ways I could get a product of positive 28, because I don't want to deal with negatives quite yet. 2 and 14, 3 doesn't go into it, 4 and 7, 5 doesn't go into it, 6 doesn't go into it, 7 has already been covered, so this is our complete list. But of course this product is negative, or this product is positive. We want it to be a negative number, which means I either want a negative 1, I either want the negative to be on the first part or on the second part of the list. Let me just rewrite it and rewrite these out. So I either want the negative to be on, well, I want a negative to be on one of the two numbers, exactly one of the two. So let's now look to see which of these has a sum of 3. You can see this list down here. If I put the negative on the right-hand side, my sums are all going to be negative because the right-hand side are the bigger numbers. Since I'm dealing with a sum that's positive, it means I actually want, well, it looks like specifically a positive 3. That's this number right here, or that pair of numbers. So this factors as z minus 4 times z plus 7. Let's check this. Z times z is z squared. Z times 7 is 7z. Negative 4 times z is negative 4z. And negative 4 times 7 is negative 28. These combine to give me plus 3z minus 28. And that's exactly where I started. So that is my final answer there.